Welcome to Vintage Bricks. James, your host. We are going to do a overview of our Blacktron sets. Okay, let's put this base together. I want to make it look like it's on this asteroid or moon planet here. Backdrop, all the sets. There it is. Can I take a look at the Blacktron's base? See if you can pick out the different sets. We're going to go over them all here in a little bit. So first I'll explain a little bit what's going on in the diorama. And then I'll go through a short review of all of the sets. Then if you want to hang on for longer reviews, I linked to my old YouTube videos of all of these that I've done the last couple weeks. Now let's start going through our reviews starting with Message Intercept base 6987. When you think of the Blacktrons, you have to think of the Message Intercept base. This is like their key base. They're really their only land base. Everything else kind of emanates from here, and just like the name of the set is, it intercepted messages. And so we'll start with this 5 minifigures. So a great start to the theme. The 6954 came out in 1987 and was a very scary set for the people at the time. The first really bad guy Lego set that came out, and you can see the segments here, which we'll talk about more. This guy was key in so many ways because now that we had our intercept base, we needed to go off and attack, sneak around. And this was the one that was really sort of instrumental in showing how this whole set was designed in segments and how they could be interchanged. End this part by seeing a really kind of a close-up of how you can clip these parts together. Very cool set. Now the Battrax set 6941. Well, we've seen the Message Intercept base and the spaceship. Now we need their ground transportation, and this was just a thing. The Battrax has the articulating thing. Even has this little plane that can take off the back here. So, this thing was ready. I have a couple bases behind me, and it could go between the bases and go on little missions on planet. So it's key to have a little ground transportation. And our third set, the Battrax, fits the bill. Our next two sets are a new one and an old one. Let's take a look. Once the Blacktrons were ready to go in and do some invading, we had two sets that are pretty similar. This was the reimagined set from 22, or was that 23? But they're both sleek attack ships. So the Blackrons were all business when these ships, cut loose. And they're pretty cool. And these guys, the only, non-little Blacktron guys, they both had these cute little droids that they were busy, and they had places where they could, conduct business from inside here. So, both of these are key sets for once you get in orbit with the Renegades, these guys could swoop in. So, great addition to this theme. One of my favorite sets, 6876. Well, as you know, when you have something that's high tech, like the Message Intercept base, you need to protect all that technology from ground incursions, and that's why we had a whole bunch of these little Alienator sets that were needed to get in and kind of go around looking and see what's going on. And so these were really cool little sets. They had all these moving pieces and alternate builds. So key sets to really make this Blacktron theme be fully fleshed out. So I love this little set. Although 1988 was pretty much the last of the main sets, a couple years later, in 1990, they came out with this Meteor Monitor to kind of as an add-on to another bundled group of sets you could get. And it's the only set that has white. We have a little commentary on the diorama, then Jean's Corner, where she asked, hopefully, probing questions of me. Okay, so these are the Blacktron sets. We've we've been doing the little reviews of these the last few weeks. So this is what I call a diorama. And our main set is the Message Intercept base. We got a couple, they pick up all of like the internet throughout the galaxy, and they find out like where the, you know, special minerals are being shipped, and they send out their Renegade ships. These things take off, you know, and they take off and they go out. This one's ready to go here. And then they have one that's being repaired in the middle here. It's all taken apart. And so when they come back, you know, they got to change the gaskets on it. They got stuff they got to do there. So they go fly out. And when they go out, they take their attack ships with them, which are these guys here. This is the cruiser. And these guys come up. And these guys will swoop in, you know, when they're ready to go, and do some bombing if they need to. So they got the whole thing worked out. Now the base here itself is protected by, this is the Battrax. This guy goes around, he checks out maybe a mile or two around the base, make sure everything's, you know, the coast is clear, because all of this stuff here, since it's so high tech, it's, you know, they have to be careful that the bad guys don't, you know, come in and disrupt them. And then they have these little tiny things here, which are the alienators. Yeah, so these come in, and there's one in front of me here. They cruise around and just protect the rim. And then there's a whole bunch of these little tiny planes that kind of, these will just cruise around and check things out too. So this is a thriving community, Blacktron community, bad guy community. Well, the history of the Blacktron is pretty interesting in the sense that they kind of broke out of their classic space and Futuron, and as we said, came out with this bad guy theme. And if you have a bad guy theme, you're going to have you need a good guy theme, and the Space Police happen to fit the bill. So there's a little bit of the history in the late 80s. So the Blacktrons were robbing from the Futurons and arrested by the Space Police. All the while, they had the classic little smiley faces, and they seemed to get along pretty well with each other. Yes, it's time for Gene's question and answer time. Gene's Corner.
Oh,
so
okay. I do have questions now.
Okay, time for questions.
So did you make up the community layout yourself here?
Oh yeah. This is my, that's why, yeah, I made up the whole thing. These are some, you know, stones from the garden. Brought those in.
That was my next question.
I should let you ask the questions first.
Are they from the fountain?
They're from the fountain outside.
So they're real stones.
These are real stones that make up the base here. This is like on a planet. This is like on an asteroid, hidden in an asteroid belt somewhere where they're hiding out. Nobody knows where they're at.
Next question. So you have these heavy stones on our old antique card tables. So how are they holding up? Did you have some concern about that?
Well, if you look underneath, you can look. These aren't antique. These are. I would not put them on the antique table.
Did you have concern about card table weight in general? These are some heavy rocks.
You know, I haven't until you mentioned that. But the answer is no. I look at there are two or three on each side.
Well, they're well balanced.
They're well balanced. Although I might move my leg out of the way here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, safety first.
My third and final question.
Okay.
This is like, I think, the biggest diorama you've made.
No, I've not done bigger ones.
Have you done bigger?
When we're done with this video and getting the rest of the diorama, I am putting these all away and moving on to my next creations. So dioramas are only meant to stay for you to enjoy, for me to enjoy, the grandkids to enjoy, then we take them all down. This doesn't stay here.
It's very nice, honey.
Oh, there we go. It's very nice. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, it's impressive. You thought of all this yourself.
Yeah. Well, of course. This is like the theme.
Do you like
cool.
lay in bed thinking about this?
I do. I think about, this is like, there's these different themes and they're made to be played with and brought together. And
I'm supposed to say something about Gene's Corner.
Thank you for Gene's Corner. Yeah, give it a try.
Thank you for joining me in Gene's Corner.
Okay, thank you. There is so much more to say about the Blacktrons, so I copied my other YouTube videos at the end here So if you want to learn a little bit more about each of these sets, I hope you enjoy that. And we'll see you again here on Vintage Bricks. The Blacktrons are in a battle here. Oh, you'll find this a fun review of Message Intercept Base Set 6987 from 1988. We'll learn all about that, and we have a special new feature that you'll be seeing pretty soon. So come on in and enjoy. This is how I envision this base on this foreign moon. Well, let's do a quick spin of the set. The left is where you would launch your ships. The right is the control tower. It goes back and forth. It's 500 plus pieces, but these large pieces, translucent ones, which are just gorgeous. And every way you turn, there's like a little surprise of moving things, and it comes with 5 minifigures, which is really a nice complement. A ship and a little Land Rover. This set is a high-tech command center, like maybe NORAD in the United States, where they collected all the information out there so they could conduct their thievery. So we're going to have a new section where Gene gets to ask me questions, and I can give commentary. What questions do you have any about? This is what the set I'm reviewing right here. This guy right here. It's a space base for Blacktron, which are the bad guys. And I'll spin it around so you can see the front part. There's a little ship that comes out. It has all sorts of little minifigures. It intercepts messages so they can go rob people.
Oh, am I supposed to be asking you questions now?
Now's the time to ask a question.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So these have bad guys. You told me before the video.
Yeah.
This is
bad
the
guys.
first time they had bad guys. So,
Yeah, the little black guy. Yeah, here they are, bad guys.
What was the reception of this with the children of the world?
Well, our kids were children there
then,
and I never heard them asking for this set. I think they want Star Wars stuff. So for our kids, I'm not sure there was any reception. Apparently they were scared when you took the visors down on the guys. They looked menacing, like Darth Vader.
They do a little bit.
Yeah,
So
and
did this predate Darth Vader?
No, this is after Vader came out. Before that, before we were married. Remember Vader came out?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you remember that?
I was just wondering if Vader copied Lego.
He used his force and did. Yes, that's probably true.
Okay.
Any other questions? This is kind of a cool set. It has moving parts. This part here is like a launch base. So it has this thing here where it spins around here and it opens up.
Oh my goodness, look at that.
It opens up. So
Wow.
then the spaceship that gets docked in here, spaceship can take off when it opens up.
Wow, that is very Star Wars-like.
Isn't that cool? That is really cool. This existed before. Some of the sets I have had these pre-made race bases, but those came out years later. This is before that, so they had it kind of propped up. So this was on, some hidden planet.
Okay, I have to say, this kind of confuses me a little bit, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Are these supposed to be eyeballs at the top?
Up here?
Yeah.
Now remember, it's an Message Intercept base.
Oh.
So think about, what they're intercepting messages probably from the Futurons. That's their main, and they're finding out, where they're storing their special uranium or whatever minerals that are. Yeah, so that's why they're intercepting bases, and then they take off.
What's this thing over
Well,
here?
once they intercept their messages.
Yeah.
This isn't part of this set, but this is the Renegade. It gets sent off on missions here to get whatever they're raiding and bring it back. So that's what this guy's for. It's pretty cool.
So this is not part of the set.
Not this set. No, I reviewed this last week.
Should go with.
Well, it's a part of the theme.
The theme.
Part of the theme. These are the bad guys, and then when Legos put these guys out, they had to come up with the good guys. So they had a Space Police set, a theme. I haven't reviewed those sets yet. The Space Police, now I had to arrest them when they were doing bad things, and how does it go?
Okay, I'm looking forward to the good guys. This kind of confuses me. But let's see the other side.
So this part here, if I spin this moves into position here, see?
Oh my goodness.
And so when that moves into positions, people can race in here to get ready to launch things. And these things move here to up and down.
Oh wow. Does this have more movement than most Lego things?
That's why I love it. It does. It's really an interactive set. And,
Was it harder to build? because of that?
It was really fun. It was fun to build because you're kind of building all this stuff, and I really one of the more enjoyable sets to build. Yes.
Okay, that's all.
Okay, thank you for visiting Gene's Corner, and we'll be doing this regularly. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
We'll look at the main features, and remember it's a Blacktron set, so everything's black and yellow. And here's the base again, and this time it's sort of an outer space section. Here's all the parts, the 500 plus parts. To see it, a few red pieces there to complement it. Here's a little ship you build. That's the one that fits right into the left side of the base here. It's actually a pretty nicely constructed set with, I think it has some guns in the top there, and then when you finish the set, you can see how it's well balanced for it. Now this little guy, this little Land Rover, for a little guy, is pretty well put together. I mean, it'd be nicer if it was bigger, but I do like the wheels and a little bit of red accessory. So just to kind of buzz around the base, you know, check out for gopher holes or whatever's going on there, that'd be pretty cool. Another quick look at the completed set where you see something nice and open and airy, and they get that by putting all these pylons down to support the main floor. And there's the pylons and a little yellow accent. And then here's our first floor going in. And then you make the platform on top of that, and they do a good job. Oh yeah, here's the high-tech area where they have the control center. The guys are busy working there, making sure they can launch their ship and, you know, intercept messages. So there's plenty of things for these 5 minifigures to do. You could use 10 minifigures. I actually added a couple more for the photos. And they had walkie-talkies. They had all sorts of little ground things. And, you know, again, because they're intercepting the messages here and scrambling their ships to go on action here. And okay, well, here it is again, and this is the bay here. You can launch our nice little spaceship shuttle there, and then you can open and close the roof here. And I guess that opens and closes the antennas. Not quite sure why you need this, but it is cool, so I'm not going to question the Lego makers on that. And then this center opens until you can see that huge radar dish in the front there. So let's look at the minifigures. They're all this guy. There's 5 of these guys here with the smiley face, but the menacing black outfits that match perfectly with the set. And this guy's, I think he's trying to make sure there aren't any landmines nearby, or, you know, I'm not sure what he's doing, but that's pretty cool too. So beautiful little 5 guys here at the far right. We just can't quite see it, but he has a gun, the one gun, and they love each other. Look, they're giving hugs. He's going, this is a great place to work. They must have a good retirement plan. Okay, here's the box, and the classic 1980s box here with the kind of space in the background that's distinctive. Now, lots of alternate builds, which I have not tried yet, so I want to try an alternate build. I bet this little boy can do the alternate build, but I'm going to do this one right here. This one looks great, so that'll be a future project. Do that alternate build.
The next longer review is the Renegade spaceship.
James from Vintage Bricks, and we are going vintage today. We're going back to a Blacktron set from 1988, the Renegades, and this ship was the pinnacle of bad guy spacecraft. The first bad guy theme I think Lego had. Let's start by going over the features of the Renegade. Let's spin this around, bad boy around there. It's asymmetrical. Isn't that menacing? I can see why the 8-year-olds were scared of this thing. But remember, they had the smiley faces, so nothing to be scared about at all. It was just fun to play with. What a striking set. With some of these photos, you can see how this really became a all-time space classic. Okay, it comes in sections here. When you build it, you build these sections, and then they all snap together. What a clever way. So, okay, there's the bad boy right there. Translucent yellow is absolutely stunning. Spin it around. If you saw this coming in the atmosphere, you'd be giving up all your goods. I'll show you the canopy here. The canopy does go up and down. you know, these yellow black is certainly the hallmark of this Blacktron set here. Now they have these side guns on the side here, and they can have these controls here. They get up on here, and they can put their visor down so they could, you know, you wouldn't have to worry about the atmosphere with their tanks on. And then they have, of course, a close-up of our radar array here, maybe a communication tower. Oh, you know, maybe it helped guide the missiles they'd fire out. So anyway, a really, really great build. These boxes really were works of art. Look how nice that is with the Renegade on the front there with a little scooter. It flips up like these often did at this era. And the little boy playing inside, thinking, how can I build an alternate build? It's going to be pretty tough for you. Maybe have your dad help you with that. And you'll flip it over, and on the back it shows you how it clicks together. And very characteristic of this set, which I love that feature, so you can kind of mix and match the parts a little bit there. Next we'll move on to the, this is the instructions. And the bottom are, they kind of show how these different sets interact, and you can click those together too.
Next up is our Battrax review.
Looking at another Blacktron set that's on a dangerous road. They're on their way to the review. Oh! Even if I have to run, I'm not going to miss this review. Welcome to Vintage Bricks. James, your host. We are back in the Blacktron era, looking at the Battrax set 4941. So welcome and come on in. This was the Blacktron's key ground transportation. They traveled in style. They even had a little drone they could fly around in. And they would cruise up and down on the planet's surface looking for things to steal and rob. So let's get going with Gene's Corner. Okay, we are doing the Gene's Corner now. So Gene can ask questions about our little vehicle here. Okay, Gene, what questions do you have about this guy? Anything that comes to mind?
Okay. I'm kind of confused. This one goes in the air. This one flies.
Yes, flies.
Okay,
the base.
They're about the same size. It seems like.
Does this one?
Seems like would a car really be as big as a flight engine of some sort?
Yes, it was. You know, this is special because this protects them. You know, if they're going around on their secret moon, they can't just go cruising around the ground with this little guy from their Message Intercept base. They need this. And I'll tell you 3 reasons why. One, lightning could come down and strike them, and that would be bad. The other is that, you know, they could hit avalanche, and that could knock them over, and it has to be strong enough from that. And the third reason is, I mean, although they're bad guys, they're badder bad guys around, and they could be attacking them and bombing them. So this could help them safely. Safety first. That's our motto here.
So is that like a protected area there for them?
Oh yeah, this is like super stronger than titanium, some super alloy they've developed. I think they stole the technology from the Futurons, how to make this.
Oh, it kind of bends.
It does. And they can send this out. Look at this, like a little drone to scout out.
Oh, I'm so excited.
They send a little drone out.
Look at that. Oh, wow.
And it takes photos, they can shoot things, and then when they're ready, it comes back and lands. So that's pretty cool.
That reminds me of Star Trek from the 1960s.
It is. And this also has these kind of cool little connector things here.
Slides off.
Slides off. So if you say you want to add it to this guy here, you could slide this off, maybe. I think that comes off. See, that comes off. And look, I can put this on here.
Exchangeable parts.
Exchangeable parts.
Wow.
They love, the Blacktron guys love the exchangeable parts. So that's cool. Let me put them back together here. Any other questions that are coming to mind? It's kind of a little set, but it's a nice addition to the plane, to the base. Okay, well, thank you for your questions, and we'll do this again soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye. So we're going to move on to the build and I guess features a part of it here. And if you don't build it just right, these wheels will fall out just like this. And nobody wants a Battrax recall. So here are the pieces, a little short of 300. And you start building in the front and back section. And I'm kind of spinning one of the sections around here where the wheels go. Pretty straightforward here. And then you put them together with this little dowel. And this is pretty clever because it lets the, or you know, kind of articulating here so it can get around the rocky terrain. And then I put the wheels on here, and this is the first section. And we can add our Diorama to. The engine's pretty cool in the back too, with those bright red translucent pieces. Okay, here's the cockpit that's in a segment, which we've seen the Blacktron's do, so you can move, you can mix and match these. Here's the little drone. Okay, it looks like that could be something you can fly around in. In fact, our guy is flying around, and they can get out and do a little reconnaissance. And they snap together like all of these good Blacktron sets. We'll snap the front on here, and then we'll snap our drone in the back. Come on, get in there. There we go. They snap on pretty well. The pressure of the video is getting to me, I think, here. Okay, we'll snap the back on here. This is the little drone. So it's a great feature, a multi, you know, it's a set that had, you know, multi features to it there with the drone and the cockpit that you can change around.
Now we'll take a closer look at the cruiser.
Welcome to Vintage Bricks. I'm James, your host. We do all things vintage sets and Legos. And there's a Legos coming out with a 4580 set, which is the new version of this, the Blacktron Space Cruiser. In the video you'll find out a little bit about the history of where the Blacktron theme fit in. And as a teaser, the Blacktrons in 1987 were versus the Space Police. So hopefully Lego puts out a Space Police set so we can have like a new Mano Mano. The new set, I believe you have to buy a set for a certain value at lego.com to get the new set, which I have ordered. There's another Blacktron theme. So I think we'll find this enjoyable.
And with the minifigure, it's pretty straightforward. One Blacktron minifigure and one fancy little robot. Okay, let's look at the build. This is, of course, the key to, as we compare it with the new set, when that actually arrives. A little spin of it here. This set had you'll see so many moving parts for such a small set, less than 200 pieces here. And you'll see the back of the engine go. That's where the robot goes. We'll see that more. And then, of course, the cockpit, which is a lovely translucent yellow. So this is a work of beauty for, you know, I guess they're bad guys. Okay, let's do the build here. Here's the cockpit. Now here's some more moving pieces. You have the little wings out here. My son's an engineer for Boeing, so he probably could explain to me what they do. Probably lift, I suppose. I guess maybe don't need lift in outer space, and then that just flips right on there for the cockpit. Then there's the middle section. There's really three sections. This is a section that has the nice contrast with the yellow and black, and these all kind of pop in together right there with some technique pieces. Maybe I should push that in a little harder, possibly. And our little back part here. Now, this is the one I didn't push in all the way. Okay, I wanted to. Can't get the. It has a little tiny engine on the back there, but it didn't need a whole lot. This was a cruiser and not a battleship. And those back ones probably helped it to turn and go up and down. And again, these translucent pieces, that red translucent piece, a nice contrast. Oh, you'll notice in the front, too, there's a couple little like laser guns in the front. So, I mean, they're bad guys. They had to rob, probably mining bases and such. They never hurt anybody. They weren't that bad. And then the engine section, and of course, you see that yellow and black emblem, which is characteristic here of the Blacktron. Okay, the Blacktron's make a nice contrast with the classic space sets, where a lot of white going on there. Okay, let's go ahead and put him in there, our little robot. He controls, probably controls all sorts of things back there. You can't have too many little R2-D2s, although it's not R2-D2. It would be silly to put him in a thing in a Blacktron set. Okay. There we go. Of course, we got to put our Blacktron guy in there, just a one-man ship here. And I showed you the guns before. We got those and our flaps. Left, turn right. Okay, I can't really wait to get the new set that Lego put out to see. You know, they probably gonna have a lot more detail on that.
Let's take a look at the Alienator with all the alternate builds. Welcome to Vintage Bricks. James, your host. We are doing another Blacktron set, Alienator. So come in and let's take a look. Well, let's take a look at 4 Alienators together. These things were great in packs. They could run around together and protect and attack. And I think I envision these guys sitting in front of the main Blacktron base, the Message Intercept base, where they would rove and look for anybody trying to sneak up on them, like the Space Police. You can tell they're doing a good job here of it. Let's do our little spin 360 review of our set here. And you'll see it has these distinctive trans yellow, as we mentioned, and black, and a little bit of red accent colors with some moving pieces, and it marches along, which is really a hallmark of this set. It's moving pieces. Let's take a closer look at that. Now this is the key to the whole set here. This little spinny piece here, because it's what the legs fit on, and you'll see how you can. This lets have the action just like that, back and forth, back and forth. So clever. Here's a kind of a breakdown of the main sections of the set. Okay, this is like one of their like firing guns with the basic controls. And the translucent yellow, which is, we love that. And it swings up and down. It has a nice little locking mechanism. Again, this thing pretty much does it all. The inside, when you open up the back, it has, I'm not sure, is that a weapon? It must be a weapon and maybe a tool. Maybe a tool and a weapon. And then the rockets on the back, so it can jet around. You know, a great feature of all these Blacktron sets are the interconnectivity. You can take sections and remove them and add them to other sets to mix and match. Pretty awesome. The thing I think is really nice on the box here, there are 4 different versions of the Alienator. This is brick for brick, the most versatile set I've seen. 82 bricks, you make 4 separate Alienators. Okay, here's a picture of the box with the 3 alternate builds plus our main build. Let's look at number 1. Now this is the scooter. I call it the scooter. It goes fast. You can scoot around quickly, and he says, let's race. Okay, let's do it. And he jets around here. You can push forward and get that thing going. As you spin that around, you can see how these parts are, not that many, these parts can all fit together different ways. The second one is a little bigger scooter. Like this one can jet around on the ice. And so the team is getting around, a little team meeting, protect the base. And so they're jetting around. I bet these guys can even go in and rob some stuff from the Futurons. So as we spin this around, we'll see how this is put together. Again, a little bit more powerful than our last racer. And the third Alienator is another spacecraft. So this will kind of morph into this more of a little more powerful jet fighter. And here you see him jetting around the moon, checking out things. And you can see how they all have a certain theme, one Blacktron man. And here you can protect look at that little castle in the background. That's pretty cool. Jane, it's time for Jane's Corner. Are you ready for a question or two?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Well, this set is called the Alienator because it doesn't make friends. It's a little tiny set here. And it's one of these sets that we've seen this with the other Blacktron ones. Come on, little guy. Jump out, jump out, jump out. This is supposed to come undone here. I should have a blooper reel at the end. As we've seen with some of the other sets, it articulates off and on like that so they could fly off. That's kind of cool. Time for one question. Do your best here.
Did they get the name from the movie The Aliens? Which came first, the Lego or the movie?
That's a great question. Obviously.
All right.
Thanks for visiting Vintage
Corner.
Bricks. Oh, thanks for. I'll say it one more time. You should say that. Thanks for visiting. So, what do you have to say at the end here?
Thanks for visiting Gene's Corner.
Thank you, Gene.
Okay, that's it. The end of Blacktron's. Thanks for visiting Vintage Bricks. We'll see you again next week.